Today on the show, we welcome a true behind the scenes powerhouse of motorsport, Dean Brooking. From the intense world of motorsport to shaping his own racing team, Dean's expertise ensures that the competition stays absolutely thrilling. Get ready for an eye opening dive into a team owner's world most fans rarely get to hear about. So let's start with the first question. Who is Dean Brooking and how did your journey start? And how did you transition from a racer to the founder and director of JKD Racing?
My journey in motorsport started probably a little bit later than most. I think I was about 16 or 17. I got invited to a big event in Australia called the Sandown 500 to actually help out in the pits. And from there, the sort of passion grew a lot more. But obviously, working life and motorsport, the two always clash, and motorsport takes a bit of money, and family life and work commitments. I ended up sort of a little bit of a different path, and came back to motorsport a bit later in life, in my late 20s, and probably getting into motorsport it's just such a passion. It's, there's a lot of highs, there's a lot of lows, and some of the lows can be quite brutal at times, and you wonder why you do it, but next week, next event, you're always back there.
I mean, I guess you end up listening and hearing to the calling anyways, whether you like it or not. You have to get into the calling of the nature, and that's what motorsport is all about for you. You've competed in various categories like HQ Holdens, Porsche Challenge, and now the Tyrepower V8 SuperUtes. What inspired you to establish JKD Racing, and how has your racing experience influenced your approach to team management?
Well, the main focus for starting JKD Racing was to make that transition from working for corporations and being focused solely on what's right for that corporation. And it was more a lifestyle change, as my passion was always motorsport. So I thought, let's try and make motorsport more the business and look at more national competition. At the time, prior to that, I've always been at state level racing, and we were looking at doing national racing, and hence I started the whole ball rolling of trying to get following on social media and so forth like that. LinkedIn's been a big passion of mine, to be that I see as the focus, because with motorsport, a lot of it's business to business, and then for like sponsors and so forth, it's what we can deliver to them, for then, retail customers, basically, to recognise their brands and so forth like that through the sport that we love. And motorsport is a massive commitment for anybody that gets involved. The hours are really long and that sort of thing. It's, I think other sports that are around that companies support, they get a lot of coverage with things like football and stuff like that, a lot of TV and that sort of thing. There's very much a lot of passionate people, but you don't hear stories of people where something's happened and the whole team just stay there all night to make sure the team are back out on the track the next day, and that's probably one of the big things with motorsport. Doesn't matter, you have rival teams. If you're stuck and you need assistance to make sure your race car's back out the next day, other teams will help you. They'll lend you parts, they'll lend you tools, whatever it takes to help get you back out there. And it's just a fantastic network of people. Sorry, there was another part to that question and I've forgotten it.
No worries about it. So I was asking the inspiration and established JKD Racing, and how was your racing experience influenced your approach to team management?
Probably, it's probably not more my racing experience. It's actually probably more my past operational management and logistics management career that's really helped me better develop our team in motorsport. I learnt a lot from doing operations management with regards to continuous improvement and we're all part of a team. You know, we all chip in and work together. And you know, I might be the team owner, but we're at a race meeting and there's an issue. I'm the first one under the car to try and help work it out and get the problem solved and get the car back out there. And that's where the teams support each other. And sometimes it can be really frustrating, and you get frustrated, you lose focus, but somebody else will be focused and they'll get you back on track. And we just, whatever it takes, we just get the job done.
I mean, you're leading with examples, so that's definitely the reason that the team is doing well as well, I'm pretty sure. So, JKD Racing has grown into a formidable presence in the Tyrepower V8 SuperUte Series. What were some of the initial challenges you faced in building the team, and how did you overcome them?
Probably the main initial challenge, obviously funding's always a big one for anything in motorsport. Some people in motorsport have, you know, got the family backing and that sort of thing, where for us it's all about everyone that works within the team is a volunteer. You know, they volunteer their time, they volunteer their passion and that for motorsport. They get fully involved with whatever's required and so forth. Sorry, lost my train of thought again.
No, I
Must be
mean,
that time of the day.
it's not an easy task when it comes to motorsports. The main issue is actually sponsorship, the financial backing that you need to have. That's the main challenge. Regardless how many talented people that you have and all that, if you don't have enough financial backing, the team collapses because you don't have the financial sponsors to go forward, because everything is costly, even the time, even the energy, even the talent, and even putting up a car together and building up and putting onto the track. Also, you need money to fund it. So, pretty sure that is going to be the biggest challenge for every single person who's actually running with their own team. And that's a huge burden that falls under your list, because you're the person who's managing everything, and you, as a team owner, it affects you a lot. So definitely understand the challenges that you'll be facing in building the team. And how you can come over it also comes with a lot of pressure, and a lot of downs and ups. So totally understandable about that. But here's the interesting part that actually caught my eye. Your stepson, Jensen Engelhardt, races alongside you in the team. How do you balance the roles of mentor, team owner, and family member on and off the track? Because that has to be a pickle.
That is a big challenge because we actually also work together in our workshop. And on our business of JKD Racing itself, we work together. So we're pretty much together 24/7, Jensen and I, but we do get along really well. But like any family, we fight, but the good thing is Jensen's just as passionate. He puts in so much effort. He's always working on the vehicle. And one of the biggest focus for me with Jensen has been to get him to do the work on the car so he better understands the car for when he's on the track, and he can provide so much really good feedback when he gets out of the car. Once he's had a chance to come back down to earth out of getting out of the car, because you're extremely focused when you're out there, but once he comes in and has a bit of water and gets past the adrenaline rush of being out there, then the feedback he gives us is really good, and we can start help. We've been slowly improving the car over the last couple of years. When we first started, the car was just not set up right for us at all, and we've been really improving it. And our next round, which is next week in Tasmania, we're really hoping to be in the top 10.
From the technical sides, as a team owner, how do you ensure that JKD Racing maintains technical excellences and compliance in such a competitive environment?
between myself and our team manager, who again is a volunteer, our team manager guys, he's actually a manager, an IT manager in a large software company here in Australia, and he is very focused and detailed. And anything we want put together, like checklists and all that sort of thing, and it's something we see a lot of teams don't do. We're the only team you can walk along the garage, and we actually have a checklist stuck on the window of the car of everything that has to be done before that car goes back out again. And we're forever refining that checklist and improving on it. And then we've got another checklist that we actually use in the workshop in between events. To again make sure we cover everything off, to ensure one, we continually improve within the category, but also our preventative maintenance prior to each event is streamlined and improved. So when we're at the event, in between races, we've got the time to sit down and relax. We're not frantically running around trying to fix problems that should have been fixed back in the workshop before the car even arrived at the event. So the other part of it's obviously keeping up with the category regulations, which, there's lots of changes been coming as, because of the type of vehicles they are, it's hard to get the parity in the vehicles and getting them close. And that gap is closing and improving quite a lot. So we've got to continually keep reading the regulations. And our team manager Gavin, who's really good at that, anything new comes along, he reads through it in detail and points out all the differences to myself. The other side of it is also, if we've got ideas of how we can improve the car, the first thing we do is go back to the rules and read through the rules and make sure we're allowed to make those changes prior to testing anything at a test day.
Just like the saying goes, you read the regulations twice. The first one, you read it to understand what they're saying it, and the second time, you read it to understand what they're not saying, so that you can find a loophole to go through that.
Yes, exactly. There's always little bits and pieces that's... and any little improvement that you can find is extremely important in motorsport, and it's all the little 1% improvements that you can find. They all add up.
So the Tyrepower V8 SuperUte, it's quite different from vehicles you've raced before. What adjustments did you have to make as a driver and team owner to compete effectively in this series?
It's quite a big change actually, because the prior, I think probably 5-6 years prior to jumping in the SuperUte, I'd been driving front wheel drive cars, and with a front wheel drive car in a racing condition, you very much throw the car into the corner, and if the car gets out of shape, you put on the power. Well, with a V8 SuperUte, you can't do that. If the car's getting out of shape and you put the power on at the wrong time or too much, it will bite you and put you off the track. And that was pretty evident in like I drove in the series for a year and a half, and I don't think there was one race meeting that I didn't have a spin, because I just couldn't get my head around trying to get the car out of the corner as quick as the other cars that we were competing with. I was sort of getting up there and in amongst them, but we'd find the corner exit was, for me personally, it was just not working. But what we've discovered in the last probably year and a half, a couple of years with Jensen driving, is we've started to discover that the car just wasn't set up correctly either, which has been good that I've stepped out of the driver's seat. I can be more focused on, okay, what do we need to improve? How can we improve? What are all the little 1%ers and that sort of thing? And I can concentrate on work with Jensen to help him improve his driving. And Jensen had never raced anything before. The SuperUte is the first race car we put him into in an actual physical race. He'd driven front-wheel drive cars that I'd had previously at track days, at test days. So Jensen's coming up to speed really quickly. We're really happy with his progress. Some people might see it from the outside, not knowing Jensen's background, and say, why isn't he up in the top 5? Well, he'll get there, not a problem at all. But, we're just slowly progressing rather than try and jump in, spend a lot of money, get the car right up at the top there. We'd rather work everything out for ourselves, learn from it all, and just slowly keep progressing. And Jensen's last drive at Sydney showed that he's got what it takes. He's got the making. He started last on the grid, 21st spot, and finished the race in the very last race in 12th spot. So it's really good that we're getting that progress.
I mean, it's like Lewis Hamilton versus Charles Leclerc, because Charles been in Ferrari for the whole time and he has no issue getting adapted quickly and easily. But for Lewis, he has to forget about a 12-year-old Mercedes and then, get back in again a Ferrari, which is totally different from Mercedes. So just like that, for it's the same, I guess, when it comes to you and your son as well, because for Jensen, he's been driving the whole thing from the beginning, and for you, it's a change of environment from skipping from another series into this one. So yes, definitely understandable. Motorsport is fraught with unpredictability. Can you share an instant where JKD Racing faced a significant setback and how you led the team through it?
Probably one of the biggest setbacks there's probably a couple of big setbacks. Our first year in the series, we had a very big, well-known world brand sponsoring us for that year. And we were under the impression that it was going to continue, but it didn't continue after that first year. So suddenly we found that we had no funding, and we'd sort of committed to 2 cars for the following year. And so it started out that second year. We started with the second cars, and we had a driver in the second car, which was quite helpful. But the poor bloke had a knee operation that went horribly wrong after the very first race meeting, and he's only just getting back into the series now, 2-3 years later. But probably the biggest setback was in that second year. I was involved in a very big crash at the Bend in South Australia, where it was a start line incident and a car well off to my right hit the wet grass, hit the wall, but it came shooting back across the track where I was doing, I think I was doing about 150 kilometres an hour, and the car just came out of nowhere and hit the side of me and caused a lot of damage to the car. We were able to repair it and everything, but obviously the repair bill meant I didn't have the funding anymore to drive the car myself. So we had to find another driver that had the funding that we could put in the car for events after that. So the car missed the next event while I had to cut out the whole side of the car and replace it and repair all the rear suspension damage. But then we managed to get an international driver, Tom Oliphant, who was from the UK. He was out here racing in TCRs, and he come along and drove the car at Bathurst for us, which was great experience for him because he'd never driven there before. But it certainly helped our team out as well. We're the only Tyrepower V8 SuperUte team to ever have an international driver on the grid. So that was, it felt really good to be able to do that.
I mean, I guess after adversity, there's always a silver lining that comes along with it.
Yes.
JKD Racing emphasizes a culture of inclusivity and enthusiasm. How do you foster this environment, and why is it important for the team's success?
I think the main reason is more that for me the team we need to be that a team. We need to be friendly. We need to be focused. We need to be able to talk to each other. We need to be able to point out things. A lot of things in motorsport can happen in the heat of the moment because something's happened and you've got to deal with something quickly. And at times, we sort of probably get a little bit short with each other, which can happen. But we always stay focused, and it's about the team and what we need to achieve. And I always encourage anyone that's on the team, like we've just put on a first year apprentice in our workshop, and the same thing working with him. If he comes up with an idea, we're willing to listen to it. If he thinks, something that we're doing in building a race car for a customer or working on our own, if he thinks of a different idea, we'll talk to him about it and discuss it. And we all learn together. I might be in my 50s, but it doesn't mean I know everything. And young people sometimes have some really good ideas. They've seen something different. And my core value of it being fun for all of us. If we don't finish on the podium, I'm not going to stress. And that's the great thing about our major sponsor, Australian Industrial Vacuum, the owner of the business. He's there with us at every race meeting. He helps us out on the car. He helps fund the team. He comes to pit lane and he wants to wheel our pit lane trolley and all that sort of thing. He just wants to be part of it and involved. And it's fantastic. And if he has suggestions for us, we're all ears. It's really keeping.
I mean, moral support is very, very important, especially to the employees who are working, specifically volunteering their time, their energy, their talent into this. So that word of kindness goes a long way, definitely. But that's not the only thing that is highlighted in your team. Fan engagement. Fan engagement seems to be a priority for JKD Racing as well, with initiatives like guided tours and photo opportunities, which is a big deal for fans. How do these interactions impact the team and its public perception? I mean, looking ahead, what are your aspirations for JKD Racing, and how do you plan to evolve? How do you plan to evolve the team in the ever-changing landscape of motorsport? Because it keeps on evolving. The motorsport, when we look back 10 years ago or 20 years ago, it's totally different to what we have right now. Well, speaking of time, we've been talking about JKD Racing and how that is getting handled and the pressure for the team and all that, challenges and everything. But as I mentioned earlier, as the team owner, all this pressure comes to you. So let's talk about you. The dual responsibility of racing and team management can be taxing. How do you personally manage stress and maintain the mental well being amid the demands of all these motorsport chaos that you have to go through every single day? What else? What else are your options in handling your own mental well being and pressure when you get it, apart from the support that you get from Jensen? That has to be the main thing. So, can you share a personal experience where you faced significant adversity in your career and what you learned from it? I mean, that's a lot of experiences for one person, but I'm pretty sure that actually has helped you out with owning your own team and handling all the pressure and managing everything as well. So let's get into the rapid questions where we ask you some fun questions. Okay, the first thing is a classic question that we ask from every single guest who is appearing on the podcast. Do you enjoy pizza? Do you like pineapple on pizza? Yay or nay? A lot of people are going to say, "Why? Why do you like pineapple on pizza?" And the rest of the people are going to be, "Yes, yes, you like pizza." So the second question: if you were a sandwich, what would be in it, and what would you call it? Ham and pickle. What would you name it? That's an interesting. Oh, you have one. Well, that's exactly the sandwich that we would like to see in the future. So, the biggest motorsport conspiracy theory you secretly think might be true. What would it be? The biggest motorsport conspiracy theory you might secretly think that can be true. Is it regarding F1? If it is, then it has to be Christian Horner. I mean, I guess majority of the Aussies are like that, very fun and very happy and all that. Because Daniel Ricciardo is always smiling and fun, and even when he's being asked hard questions, he goes with a very sarcastic, fun and loving. So we love him. If JKD Racing had a theme song, what song would it be? All right. If you could remove one car feature forever, like power steering, traction control, etc., 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 what would you ban? That was seems to be a very easy question. Okay, so this one. Would you rather have unlimited tire sets or unlimited engine rebuilds for one season? Why would you choose that? Alrighty, so let's tell our listeners and the fans all over the world listening to you right now what your social media handles are for JKD Racing so that they can keep up with your updates, the future races updates, and how you guys are performing and all that, and more fan interactions. Thank you. Thank you so, so much. So, a huge thanks to Dean Brooking for giving us a rare glimpse into the realm of team owners of racing. And if you guys want to check out the racing team and how they're doing and keep up with their updates, please do follow all the social media links. I will be linking it on our descriptions as well. So, it goes as JKD Racing on Instagram, Facebook, and also on LinkedIn. From balancing intense pressure to driving the future of fair competition, Dean's journey reminds us that heroes from motorsports aren't just behind the wheel, they are behind the scenes too. Until next time, stay curious, stay passionate, and race keep forwarding. Thank you so much for joining us today as well, Dean.